Welcome dear student. This is the general science from standard 8 and this was in first chapter the living world and classification of a microbes. Now see the first question, what is the hierarchy of a classification of a living organism? See, the Carl Linnaeus has given us a scheme. This scheme arranging the organism into ascending order of a series of a group of ever increasing inclusiveness is a hierarchy of a classification. Following are the different level in the classification as follows. Now see, we can arrange the organism by this series. First one is the kingdom, second one is the phylum, third one is the class, fourth one is the order, fifth one is the family, sixth one is the genus, and seventh one is the species. If we take an example of a kingdom Animalia, the kingdom is the Animalia, phylum is the Chordata, class the mammalians, order the primate, family the homolite, and genus Homo, and species that is the sapiens, that means Homo sapien. Now you have to be keep only one thing is remember that it is ascending order series of a group has been arranging organism, it been given by the Carl Linnaeus. It is a hierarchy. And before going to this chapter, start this chapter, I forgot one thing. You should write the all words from the dictionary, from the internet, or search on the Google, and try to find out the meaning of proper this word into the Marathi. Because of that, you will be understand better which proper the concept and meaning of that word. Now see, the second question is that who invented the binomial system of a nomenclature? Now see, the Carl Linnaeus introduced the binomial nomenclature system for the naming organism the scientifically. It means that this system has given the scientific name to any organism, that is the binomial nomenclature. All the living species are named using the two term. How many? Two. It means here word come by means two. So that is it use the two terms. That is they have to be names they are. How? Take the example, the generic name which denotes the genus and the specific name which denotes the species. The genus and species are very important in binomial nomenclature. So binomial nomenclature follows certain rules and formal way the naming the living organism. It is in formal way of naming. So first part always be generic name and it will also be italicized. Italicized means that the italic, bold italic it was it and start with the capital letter. So the second part is the species and it also named italicized. So the second name is the species and first name is the generic name. This was an important one. Now keep in your mind. So this is the answer has been asked in the first stanza. So this is the first one is the generic name and second one is the species name. So which levels of a hierarchy are considered while writing the name of binomial nomenclature? The question is that, so while writing the levels of a hierarchy, which point to be has been considered? Now first one, the binomial nomenclature is the biological system of a naming organism. The name is composed of two terms. As we will learn that the bi means two. The two term where the first term indicate the genus and second term indicate the species of the organism. All living species includes that is the Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus and the sapiens is the species. Same as all the living species including plant, animal, birds and some microbes have their own scientific names. The scientific name tiger is, for example, the scientific name tiger, as we say generally see the tiger. So what is the scientific name of a tiger? That is the Panthera tigris. Panthera represent the genus and tigris represent the particular species. The scientific name is Panthera tigris and general, as we can say in our general language, that is a tiger. Now see, it is the start of the chapter, biodiversity and need of the classification. So last year we have learned that the all the living organism on the earth have adapted according to their geographic region, food ingestion, defense, etc., etc. As ter, as as per the rule of evolution or term of evolution, we have learned that the animals, though who are adapted regarding their geographical regions, their surroundings, they have been survived. And while the process of adapting, they have learned which kind of a food to be ingested. They learn the defense mechanism. So that was very important in the part of a theory, and this is also the it is one kind of a biodiversity of the animals. While they get adopt, many differences are observed in the organism of a same species too. Means same species, but they are having some differences. We will learn the same species and having differences how it is in. So according to 2011 census, around 87 million species of a living organism are found on the earth, including land and sea. To study such a vast number, it was essential to divide them into the groups. As we know that 87 million, it is a very large number, and this much of an organism, if you want to be studied, it is in very hard. So because of that, we have to be grouped them, we have to be classify them. As we see in our school, there are the 1,000 students, and we have they classified into different class. It means that if a person or if some parent came in the school, they just ask where is my children, or where in which class they have learned. So they have denoted by their class. So denotion of that, it means that we have already classified by the student, by their category, by their all things, and because of that it is easy to find out when we suddenly say that, so sir, your children child is in 8th A standard or 8th B standard. So likewise, so 87 million, it is a very large number, and it is very impossible to study the all organisms. So because of that, we have to be group classify them. It is essential to divide them into the groups. So the groups having the subgroups were created considered the similarities and differences among the living organism. So for that, we are creating the group and subgroup also, and their similarities and differences. What are the similarity among the organisms and what are the difference among them? On the basis of that, we have made group and subgroups of the living organism. This process of dividing living organism into groups and subgroups is called as a biological classification, and this is called as a definition of the biological classification. Now, Carl Linnaeus in 1735, they divided the living world into two kingdoms, Vegetabilia and Animalia. Haeckel in 1866 considered three kingdoms, the Protista, plant and animal. In 1925, Chatham created the two groups, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. 1983, the Copeland divided the living organism into four kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, plant and animal. As we know that the some part of the syllabus has been excluded due to the this lockdown or corona pandemic, but we cannot exclude some important part, and it was just included in this my lecture. Now see the Robert Harding Whittaker, it is a pioneer. So 1920 to 1980, it was in their tenure. So it was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided the living organism into five groups. So on the classification or division of a living organism into five groups, they have made some criteria, they have made some rule. So what are the rule? First rule, the complexity of the cell structure. Second one, the complexity of the organism. Third one is the mode of nutrition. Fourth one is the lifestyle, and fifth one is the phylogenetic relationship. Now we will see different one by one. Now you will be see here the living organism has been divided into prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So prokaryotics has an unicellular, and they have included only one kingdom, that is the Monera. Eukaryotic might be a unicellular or multicellular. So both they have unicellular and multicellular, but if they have a eukaryotics and unicellular, they will be considered in the kingdom Protista. But multicellular eukaryotics has been three kingdoms, that is the fungi, plantae and animalia. So on the basis, so before going to this classification, we have to see what kind of a criteria. Complexity of the cell structure. As we know that there are the two types of the cell structure, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Means that having a nucleus with a distinct cell wall, and there is the only nucleus, there is no distinct cell wall among the nucleus. So that is the prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So this is the complexity of the cell structure. Now complexity of the organism, that is unicellular or a multicellular, it wasn't simple having a single cell or more than one cell. That is the mode of a nutrition. As we know that the some having every organism, they're having a right to nutrite their self. So because of plant as a autotrophic, they have a photosynthetic, they have take light and make their own food. Fungi has a saprophytic, it will absorb the nutritional from the dead organism. And animals, we, that are the heterotrophic and ingestative, means we can cut the plant, we can kill the animals and eat it. So that was an heterotrophic. That's why I told you that take the proper meaning, write down the word in your notebook, then you will be understand the proper meaning of a heterotrophic, saprophytic and photosynthetic. Now fourth criteria, that is the lifestyle. So plants it's considered to be as a producer, animals as a consumer and fungi as a decomposer. Both three are very important role in the ecology. So and last but very important, the phylogenetic relationship, prokaryotic to eukaryotic, unicellular to multicellular. It means that while the process of evolution, some animal having a first prokaryotic, then it will be in a eukaryotic, might be the unicellular, and after that they will be multicellular. So such a kind of a find out the relationship among the animals. Phylogenetic is very large and very vast word here. So but in simple you can say that it is a consideration of a the evolutionary relationship between the organism. That was a simple concept about the phylogenetic relationship, and these five criteria are very important in the five kingdom system of the classification. Now you will be see here, if you see the kingdom third, that is the kingdom fungi, the cell wall present, but organism can't perform the photosynthesis. That was an important. Now you have been heard about the mucormycosis. It is also one kind of a fungi, black fungus, white fungus, yellow fungus. Okay, so this word has been now recently come into the by very areas. So that was in plenty, as you know that the cell wall present and they perform their photosynthesis. And animals, no cell wall. We are the heterotrophic. So now we will see the first kingdom, that is the Monera. If you want to see the Monera kingdom organism, so you can take one activity, take a small drop of the curd or a buttermilk on a clean glass slide present into your practical lab. So put a dilute it with little water, means one drop of a curd and one or two drop of the water. So you can dilute it. So carefully keep the cover slip on it and observe it under the high power of a compound microscope. So what you will see? You will be see there are some moving small rod-like microbes or lactobacillus bacteria. So you can see here, so different kinds of the microorganism here, and they're having some name, they're having a exact their shape. If you see this, the Streptococcus pneumoniae, that is the Clostridium tetani, that is the Pteroponia pallidum, Vibrio cholerae, Salmonella typhi, and Clostridium botulinum, that Legionella pneumoniae, and Staphylococcus aureus. So these are some microbes. These words are very interesting to pronounce it. It needed some kind of a practice. So I try to understand. So all these kinds of a bacteria and blue algae are included in the kingdom Monera. Now see what are the characteristics of the kingdom Monera. First one, all the organisms are unicellular. Unicellular means they have a single cell. They may be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Might be they make your they found their nutrition autotrophically or by heterotropically. Means it will find some kind of a host. So there are the prokaryotic cell without the distinct nucleus. Now see here, what is the meaning of a prokaryotic? They have a cell but without distinct nucleus. Means the nucleus has been not properly seen clearly there. Distinct, it means that you cannot denote clearly that is in the cell or a cell organelle. So these prokaryotic cells without distinct nucleus and cell organelles. Now we will see what are the cell organelles. Cell having their own separate mechanism, their own industry, their own organelles also in single cell. We will see this word later on, and you can remind me at that time. So cell organelle. So these are the characteristics of the kingdom Monera. Now see the second kingdom Protista. To do one activity, prepare a temporary mount of a drop pond water on a glass side. Observe it under the low power and high power microscope. You will be find out some motile, means finding some kind of movement. Motile means so microbes with irregular shape. These are the amoebas. Now see the characteristics. Protestas, now see here Volvox, Paramecium, amoeba and Euglena. Such kinds of microbes you will be find out or you will be seen in the that slide, on that slide when you see in the microscope. Now what are the characteristics of such a kind of animal? Protista are the single cell organism. They have a single cell with well defined nucleus and enclosed in the nuclear membrane. Now see, you can see here clearly they have been clear nucleus visibly here, and they have a nuclear membrane, means around it. See here, you can see here the nuclear membrane here. See here the nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane, uh, definitely. So they have the pseudopodia. Pseudopodia means the this are the false legs. You can see the pseudopodia or a hair like a cilia. So see here, cilia, or sorry, this is not. This is the cilia. So this I have you see here outer side of the paramecium, and last one is the wipe like a flagella or locomotion. So this is the flagellum. This is the long thread like structure. So this is having some characteristics of the protista. In that, who they are autotrophs, like a Euglena, Volvox contain the chloroplast, and as because of that chloroplast, they called as autotrophs. And amoeba and paramecium don't contain the chloroplast, and because they called as a heterotrophs, and they found the always host to find their nutrition. And amoeba having a very interesting animal, they don't have any particular shape. It will that pseudopodia make around that any insect or any what their kind of a food, and it will be eat it. So this was an amoeba, and this is the paramecium. So now third kingdom, fungi. So again you can take a moist piece of a bread or a bhakri, podi, whatever it may be, keep it into container lid for 2 to 3 days. After 2 to 3 days, a fine cotton thread like a tuft is found growing on the surface of the bread, and when you close that tiffin 2 to 2 days, you will find out some kind of a whitish part on that chapati bread or puri, whatever it may be. So take that white part, thread like part, and see under the microscope. You will be find out such a kind of a fungi structure there. So you will be seeing such a kind of a diagram, such a kind of a structure under the microscope. So these all diagrams you have to be need draw in your notebook. So these are the, see the characteristics. They are the non-green eukaryotic heterotrophic organism. Most of them are saprophytes. As you know, the saprophytes means what? So they feed upon the decaying organic matter. Those who are decayed, going to be decayed, decompose organic matter. So on that they can feed their cell. So their cell wall is made up of a tough complex sugar, that is a chitin. So some fungi are thread-like. Many nuclei are present in the cytoplasm. Example: Baker cyst, Aspergillus, fungus on a corn, or penicillium or a mushroom. Though the many systems of the classification are introduced after the Whitakers have his 5 kingdom, the systems are widely accepted. So now classification of the microbes. Now see, among the living organism, the microorganisms are the largest in the number, hence they are classified into follows. Remaining two kingdom into 9 standard. The microorganisms are divided into prokaryotics and eukaryotics. So prokaryotics contain only bacteria, and eukaryotics contain protista, fungi and algae. They are very small to be size, very small. So with reference size of a microbe, remember 1 meter is 10 raised to 6 micrometer. It means that our 1 meter is to 10 raised to 9 nanometer. So this much having a very small measurement you can find out here, and they are very small there by their size. So now see the one bacteria size 1 micrometer to 10 micrometer. Now see here some bacteria: Coccobacillus, Bacillus, Spirillum, and Vibrio, comma shaped. These bacteria are unicellular, independent, parasite organism. Parasite means it find the host. So sometimes many bacteria together form the colonies. Bacteria cell is a prokaryotic with a cell wall, but distinct nucleus or cell organelles are absent. In this bacteria, they have uh, the cell wall, but distinctly you cannot say where it is the nucleus. It was not seen clearly, and the cell organelles are absolutely absent in the bacteria. They reproduce by the simply binary fission. Now you can see here the methods of a reproduction around the world by organisms are you will learn in ninth and standard. Among them, one, that is the binary fission. Bi means two, एकाचे दोन असे binary fission. They can divide between from them and they grow. So in favorable condition, bacteria grow vigorously and it can double their number into 20 minutes. And as you know that they will find out the humid and very correct condition by temperature, by weather. If they found their favorable condition, the bacteria grow very rapidly and they can double their numbers into 20 minutes also. Now, second one, that is the protozoans. So, approximately size is a 200 micrometer. Protozoans are found in a soil, fresh water and sea water. Now, you will be see very clearly, this is the cilia, that is the paramecium, it is the entomibia. So, Plasmodium vivox, see this is a euglena. Plasmodium, you can see here the example of a Plasmodium vivox, see looks like this. So protozoans are found in a soil, fresh water, sea water. Some are found in the body of other organisms and pathogenic. So pathogenic means that it having some kinds of a make disease to organism. So these are the unicellular organism with eukaryotic cell. There is a great variation in a cell structure, organ of a locomotion and mode of a nutrition among of the protozoans. Now you will be see here the cell structure, organs of a locomotion that uses to be what part of a using to be a movement, that is the locomotion, and mode of the nutrition. You will be find out the great variation among them. Means the paramecium and euglena, you will be compare among them the mode of a nutrition, organ of a locomotion, and the cell structure. It is very different. For example, you can take euglena use their flagellum and the paramecium use their cilia for the locomotion. That is the basic difference among them. So these organisms reproduce by the cell division. There are also two types of the cell division we will learn in the 10th standard. But keep your remind that is cell division. It is a method of the reproduction the organism. So they reproduce the simple cell division. For example, amoeba and paramecium live in a free living in a dirty water. So Entomobia histolica, that is the causes amoebasis. So this is the this protozoan, and Plasmodium vivox causes the malaria. So this it looks like it causes the malaria, and euglena is a autotrophic. Now you will be see here mode of the among the difference great variation in the mode of nutrition, the autotrophic and these are the use their host or a parasite. So that is the difference between the protozoans. Now you will be see the fungi. This is also one kind of a microorganism. It having a size approximately 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. Now you will be see the diagrams of the fungi. It is in very clear picture. I can download it on internet. It all courtesy goes to internet. I forgot to express my courtesy regarding that website here. But now see here, these are the found in the decaying organic matter and dead bodies of the plants and animal. As you see on the roadside, some dogs or any other living organism or a dead body, maybe plants also there, they after dead they can start decompose their body. So in such a kind organic matter you will be find out such a kind of fungi. These are the eukaryotic organisms. Some of the unicellular and others are visible to the naked eye. Some of them are unicellular, but mostly are you can see it naked eye. No need the microscope or any other instrument. That is the saprophytic, absorb the food from decaying organic matter. They reproduce sexually or asexually by cell division or by budding. As you told that there are the so many methods to reproduction, that is sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction, cell division, simple cell division, meiosis, mitosis. All these things we will be learn in 9th and 10th standard step by step. But you should keep in your mind these fungi reproduce sexually or asexually. They can use the both method or by also cell division or by the budding also. Now you can say the bakeries, as you go into the Bangalore bakery and if you want to make some kinds of a what cake or like some that. So you need yeast for that process of a fermentation. So uh, process of a fermentation. So that is the bakerist you needed. Candid and the mushroom. You will be see here the whole diagrams here. You can see the mushroom also. So this is the fungi. Now the fourth one is the algae. Its size having approximate 10 micrometer to 100 micrometer. They are aquatic. Mostly they found in the water. So basically they are aquatic also, not mostly. Eukaryotic, unicellular, autotrophic organisms. Photosynthesis is carried out with the help of chloroplast. Chloroplast, have you seen the green part here? These are the chloroplast, and because of the chloroplast, they have we use the process of a photosynthesis for their food. So present in the cell, chlorella and uh, so very few species of algae are unicellular. Most of them are the multicellular and visible to the naked eyes. Now the C, Chalmodonus example here, and Chlorella is example is here. So for last one is the viruses. As you know that the from very long time, last 1.5 year, we have been heard word the coronavirus. So like this viruses, it approximates size having a 10 nanometer to 100 nanometer. Generally, viruses are not considered as a living organism, or they are said to be. Now see here, most important, they are not considered as a living organism. They are not living organism, but organisms at the edge of living and non-living. It means that they are on the edge of living and non-living. By their characteristics, you cannot said to be a living organism or non-living organism. How it is? They are studied under the microbiology. Now, viruses are extremely minute. They are 10 to 100 times smaller than bacteria and can seen be only with electron microscope. So they are found in the form of independent particle. Viruses has a long molecule that is only DNA or RNA. Because of that, they contain only RNA. Because of that, they cannot be considered into the living organism. But RNA have a very interaction with living organism, and because of that, they have not said to be a non-living organism. So because they are on the edge, and this RNA and DNA are covered by the protein coat. So viruses survive only in the living plant or animal cell and produce their own protein with the help of host cell and create the numerous replica. As you know that when coronavirus, you can take example very recently, when coronavirus are enter into our body, it help in animal cell. Animal means we in enter into animal cells and produce their own protein. After producing their own protein with the help of a host cell, they create replica, and after the creating replica, they destroy the original host cell and it become free. And now by this means they can increase their numbers in our body, and these viruses causes many diseases in a plant or animal. You can take example, that is the polio virus, influenza virus, HIV/AIDS virus. That is, if you find the cattle, that is the picorna virus. If you see the tongue of that any cattle, you will be see here exactly this area is affected by the picorna virus. Now plant wilt virus, you can see here tobacco mosaic virus. So this is the wilting of the leaves. It means that the leaves will wilt very immediately. And in tomato, that is the mosaic virus, you will be see here such a kind of, you cannot see the complete reddish tomato here, and that is the bacteriophage virus attack on the bacteria. These are about the whole information of the viruses. Now homework first, this is the graha part first. Solve this exercise in your notebook, and you have one project. Prepare a chart showing the infectious bacteria and diseases caused by them. Thank you very much. If you find any kind of a difficulty to understand this regarding concept, this chapter, you feel free to ask me anytime question. Thank you, student.